We're always taught that the loudest person in the room is the one with all the power, right? But what if that's completely wrong? What if true strength, the kind that's genuinely intimidating, comes from saying nothing at all? Today, we're going to dive into the incredible strategic power of non-reaction.
So think about this for a second. Why should you actually fear the person who doesn't react when you insult them? It's a pretty wild question, isn't it? Because our first instinct, our gut reaction, is always to fire back. So what in the world is going on when someone just doesn't? Are they weak? Or do they know something we don't? Yeah, let's unpack that. Okay, so first up, the power of silence. We're going to start by completely flipping a common idea on its head. This notion that silence equals weakness, we're going to dismantle that and show you why it's actually the ultimate position of strength. This right here, this is the core of everything we're talking about. Non-reaction is the ultimate power move. And look, this is not about being a passive doormat, okay? Not at all. It is a calculated, strategic choice. An aggressor wants a fight. They're baiting you, they're begging for a reaction. And when you give them absolute silence, you're not just ignoring them. You are completely, and I mean completely, disarming them.
Yeah, exactly. You're winning because you refuse to even play their stupid game. See, they set the rules, right? The rules are they insult you, you get angry, you get defensive, you get emotional. That's the game they want to play. But when you stay silent, you're basically flipping the entire game board over. You've taken away all their ammunition. And just like that, you're the one in control.
All right, section 2. Let's talk about the science of self-control. Because what's really fascinating is what's going on inside the brain of someone who can actually pull this off. This isn't just sitting there, oh no. It is a display of some seriously elite brain power. So let's look at the science behind this superpower.
Okay, so there's a technical term for this, inhibitory control. All it really means is it's your brain's ability to slam on the brakes, to hit the big red pause button and stop that knee-jerk I'm going to snap back reaction right in its tracks. So the person who doesn't react, they are not weak. They are exercising a ton of mental muscle to override a basic primal human instinct.
And this goes hand in hand with something called emotional regulation. And this is key. The person who masters this isn't some emotionless robot, right? They feel it. They feel the anger, they feel the sting of that insult just like you or me, but here's the game-changing difference. They make a conscious choice not to be controlled by that feeling. They own their emotions do not own them.
And this slide just lays it out perfectly. On one side, you've got the emotional slave. Totally predictable. You know exactly what buttons to push to make them explode. They are so easy to control. But on the other side, the emotional master. Whoa. They are a total black box. You have no idea what they're going to do. And that choice to respond or not, makes them completely unpredictable.
And here's why that matters. In any kind of conflict, unpredictability is dangerous. I mean, if your opponent can't guess your next move, how can they possibly plan against you? They can't. That unpredictability becomes this huge tactical advantage. You've got them totally off balance just guessing. And their confusion, that becomes your weapon.
Okay, on to our third section, the information game. So we've talked about the internal strength, right? What's happening in your brain. Now let's look at the external strategy. Because every single conflict is really a game of information. And the person who stays silent, well, they're playing this game like a grandmaster. Think about it. Every single time you get angry or defensive, heck, every time you even flinch at an insult, you are giving away free intelligence. You might as well be screaming, hey, over here, this is what gets under my skin. This is my weak spot. You are literally handing them a detailed roadmap to all of your vulnerabilities.
But the person who doesn't react, they create what we can call a data void. They give the aggressor zero data, nothing. The other person is just left swinging at ghosts in the dark, throwing out insults and having no clue if a single one is hitting the mark. You can imagine how frustrating that is for them and how powerful that is for you.
And this leads to this really cool psychological phenomenon called the mirror effect. Here's how it works. The aggressor throws all this nasty, toxic energy at you. They fully expect you to catch it and throw it right back. That's the game. But your silence, it's not a wall. It's a mirror. That toxic energy has nowhere else to go. It just bounces right back at them, forcing them to look at their own ugly behavior.
All right, section 4, let's bring this all home. We've got the internal science of self-control. We've got the external strategy of the information game. So what happens when you put them together? Well, you get the ultimate power move.
We're going to call this the Stoic shield. And let me be perfectly clear, this is not passive. This is an active, powerful defensive strategy. You're not hiding behind the shield. You're using it to observe, to process, and to calculate your next move, all from a position of absolute power.
So how does the Stoic shield actually work? Well, while everybody else is drowning in emotional chaos, you're just observing. You use that inhibitory control we talked about to create that crucial pause. And in that moment of silence, you're analyzing everything. The insult, the person saying it, what they really want. And then if, and that's a big if you decide to act, it is never, ever a knee-jerk reaction. It is a precise, calculated, and devastatingly strategic move.
Look, if you remember one thing from all of this, let it be this. Reacting is like handing someone the remote control to your own emotions. They press the anger button, you get angry. They press the sad button, you get sad. You've given them total control. But silence? Silence is you just calmly taking the batteries out of that remote. And now it's completely useless in their hand.
So that leaves us with one final thought for you. The next time you're in a conflict, the next time someone tries to provoke you, just ask yourself one simple question. Who's holding the remote control? Is it you or is it them? Because ultimately that choice is always yours.